Kenda, thank you for participating in our consultation on adolescence and joy.
Sure.
Anybody who ministers with and to youth has seen the exuberance and the joy that youth are capable of. But you shared a story with us today about how joy had a new resonance in your own life because of your worship experience. Could you share that story with us?
Well, I doubt that there's anybody out who does youth ministry that doesn't have, as their hope, their deepest hope for the young people that they know and the ones that they don't know is that they will find joy, specifically the joy that comes through faith in a community and following Christ and all of that. But the larger sense of joy as just being in touch with who God has created young people to be. So, and it's a natural question for people in youth ministry to want to follow up. So that was where the first beguiling part of the project hit me. As I was thinking about it, as you know, for the paper, I got to thinking about, okay, so where is it that I am experiencing joy right now? And my head went to the church that I attend, which is one of those places that you would not necessarily think of joy being the first thing that comes to your mind. This is a church that does that shouldn't be on anybody's radar. When we started going there were about 20 people. It is in a terrible location if you want to grow a church. It had a part-time student pastor. It has 4 rooms and they all leak. And but the first word that comes to mind when I think about this place is joy. And as it happens, it is a very appealing church for young people. It's about 8 or 100 people now, and about 4 out of 5 of them are in their 20s, I'd say. And part of it, I think, is because they associate this little faith community with joy. And I think part of what's going on there is there's a rawness to the way people approach faith, partly because it's a small church and there's no pretense. Nobody's getting paid enough to be really good at anything. And so there's an authenticity about it that allows people to feel pretty close to who they are, to who they want to become. And that was kind of where it dawned on me that, first of all, it was in the context of this little community that I began rejoicing in church again, which I had not really done since I was a teenager. But also that, this is the part of the week where I am closest to being the person I want to be. And this person who I am and this person that I want to be somehow can come together in that space. And that is, I have a joy that I can't really explain, but spiritually I woke up. And that's what caused me to start thinking about joy in terms of arousal. Joy wakes you up, makes you really alert, makes you really kind of on point in the moment. And, I'm hoping that this project gets at, why that's the case. So one of the things that we talked about in terms of joy at the project was how we were conceiving joy during adolescence. And the way that I was framing it, partly because of this joy as arousal thing, was that, if churches actually were joyous places, we probably wouldn't have trouble with young people being, involved in them. And not because joy is a way of entertaining people, but because joy is a way of tapping into that person that we were created to be and trying to bring the person that we are into congruence with that. So the question that I've been asking, as you've heard me say all morning, is when did joy leave the church? What happened? Why isn't the church ground zero for joy? It seems like that would be a natural. But I don't think that's true in most people's experiences, and it hasn't been true in mine until very recently.